Hey guys, welcome back to the part of the Basics to Advanced Dataweave 2.0 Masterclass. Let's continue where we stopped in our previous session. In previous video, we created an object which has list of different types, and now we also used a global Dataweave variable. Now let's clear this and continue. So type in payload, and this time add square brackets to the either ends of the payload. This notation converts the single JSON object to an array containing a single object. Now why did I do that? The purpose of converting this payload to an array is to once again show the usage of map clearly. So let's type map and open and close flower braces after it. Even though we aren't constructing anything after map other than an empty braces, the map will still loop through that many possible iterations of the input payload and construct the output. So as we declared empty flower braces after it, the map created an array with the empty object. Now let's once again add the type of key values into the object which is constructed inside the map. So type in the key, type of name, and the value type of dot name. Wait, hold on to that thought. You cannot use dot name like this separately. It is an incorrect usage. If you ever want to work on those individual elements or objects or even the key value pair separately, then you must use the notation $. Since $, is now an object, $.name will pick the name from the object. Right now, we are only having a single object. If you add more than one object to this input payload, you would automatically understand what's happening. Same is the case when extracting any other key value pair of the object. If you remove the same square braces to the payload in the line number 5, it throws you an error as such, saying that you gave a type object to map a function instead of an array. So map always expects arrays, no matter what type of element the array consists. It can be an array of JSON objects, array of string, array of numbers, etc. Now one of the ways to work on payload which is of an type object is to use the function map object. But there are some differences between map and map object. Since map object takes an object as an input and tries to iterate through that, the only logical thing is to pick each individual key value pair fields as iterating items. So putting a $.name and $.age doesn't make sense because dollar already holds each field's value directly within it. So simply keep this as dollar and it works. Since dollar is already picking up values of each item, there is no need for line number 7. So let's clear this and type a new key employee details. Now if you notice, it is always not mandated to have dollar being used inside the map object code. No big deal, but you can directly tag payload to this key. And now the original purpose of initiating map object function is lost. As you can see, the payload is tagged to the employee details and that key value pair is duplicated over and over till it finishes all the possible iterating fields in the input. As we have 7 fields on the input side, we have 7 such duplicating employee details on the output side. Since this is confusing to grasp, let's replace the payload with null and observe what is happening. Now if you put dollar again, each item value of the input object is picked. Anyway, such JSON is invalid to construct. Now if you move your cursor onto the function itself, that will display the details about the function and how it must be used. Such description is almost available for all Dataweave functions. If you are already not aware, map object, or for that matter, given any other function, there is also another style of writing where you can assign and assume the value, key, index of the function with the help of using some form of custom notations. Like, I will add three optional informal parameters naming v, k, I, where v is value, k is the key, and I is the index. Later, I am forcing these new parameters to work as a lambda expression inside this object from line number 5 to 7 with the use of this special arrow. Note, this is also the same as using dollar. Also, dollar is a blunt, unconventional way of achieving this output. If you replace v with k, it picks up all the key names of the input object and transforms it like this. Now let's keep this cleaner because this key name doesn't make sense. V is for value, K is a key, I is an index of the key. So now each item of the input has at least a set of three categories displayed as the output. Moreover, no one is telling you to declare all the three optional parameters. You can at least use one parameter and get on with it. And also the notation of the parameters are allowed to keep any letters of your choice. I forgot to mention something earlier. If dollar is the value of the items iterating over, then dollar is sometimes the key or index depending upon the function it is working on. Now let's see how a descendant selector works. Same like a single value selector and a multi-value selector, the descendant selector is something which you put after some text and the way you use it is something dot dot. So type in payload dot dot. In short, a descendant selector is like the god of data deconstruction, deconstructing its input to all the possibilities it could. If you don't want to use such a superpower, then simply ask the descendant selector to focus on a specific key. So if you say payload dot dot name, name is a field already on the top level of the input object, but there is also a name inside the key object previous employer. So basically, dot dot name will pick up the key values of the name no matter how deep inside it exists in your input. Later, if you simply leave payload dot dot to that without using any key after it, what it does is that it picks up all of the possible combinations of the values which can be extracted from your input and it generates an array of collection of results. So here the value of name, age, is employee, previous employer are picked. Next, the first object inside previous employer is picked. Next, the name and the location of the first object is picked. Later, it takes the second object as whole and after that, it takes the name and the location and so on. So each item is considered as an individual value if you simply leave with payload dot dot. Now, let us use the descendant selector to create an array list with all age fields and all location fields which exist. That's it. If you don't believe me that this can pick up any key value pairs, no matter how deep inside it is embedded, let's add more code to this input. Add a key name cost of type object, budget cost of type array of objects, dollars of type string. Instead of using huge code to pick up just the values of dollar keys like payload dot previous employer dot cost dot budget cost dot dollar, you can simply say payload dot dot dollars. This operation helps you skip the hierarchy of step-by-step extraction involved. Okay guys, that's it for this video. Meet you in the next one. Bye.